Hey, business owners, we know you know the importance of maximizing every dollar. With the Delta SkyMiles Reserve Business American Express card, you can make your expenses work just as hard as you. From afternoon coffee runs to stocking office supplies and even team dinners, you can earn miles on all your business expenses. Plus, you can earn 125,000 bonus miles for a limited time through October 29th. The Delta SkyMiles Reserve Business Card. If you travel, you know. Minimum spending requirements and terms apply. Offer ends October 29th, 2025.
How do I invest in you? How do I build you with the understanding that they're not going to stay forever and it's not personal?
Welcome to our podcast, It's About Payroll. We're your hosts, Brian Escobar and Walter William Duncan III. Whether you're new to the payroll game or a seasoned veteran, we have something for you. Welcome back, folks. This is another episode of It's About Payroll. Episode 119. We have a wonderful guest for you today, the amazing Tiffany Gray. But before we get into that, how you doing, Walt?
I'm good, man. Very good. No complaints. Happy. How about you?
As heck, but it's all about getting your mind right. Everything is how you react to things, right? It's 90%. It's 10% action, 90% reaction.
Yes, sir.
Right? On how we deal with what is in front of us, and just reminding myself of that all the time. It's easy to be like, "Oh, I'm stressed out. Woe is me." But wait a minute. Let's get it together.
No, that's true.
You know what I mean?
Look, life is gonna life, but it's to Brian's point. Look, things are gonna happen, but it's your attitude is gonna determine your altitude, right?
I always forget that phrase.
Mm-hmm.
I always be messing that up. Thank you for saying that. That's right. Exactly right. Yeah, so let's get into it. We got a paid news update, and then we'll get into our guest will be joining us, and we'll get into it. We're gonna talk about a little bit about AI with Tiffany, and if we have time, we'll talk about another subject. But I think the first one is a big one, especially what's going on in today's climate and the recent events of a global Microsoft outage.
Yes. Were any of you impacted by that? Are you still reeling from that?
Like, what did you do as a payroll pro? What did y'all do? Did you have any? Did people not get paid? What was the workaround? We're so interested on all these things, and maybe Tiffany knows some stuff. And
were you traveling?
So we're going to talk a little bit about it. Yeah,
traveling and you got stuck.
Were you traveling? Oh my gosh, airports got shut down. Like flights. Oh my goodness, so many impact and so many different things and industries was definitely on top of everybody's mind. And as we talk about AI, I'm sure it's going to overlap a bit.
Yeah.
But before that, we do have a pay news update. If you don't mind, kick us off. Go, but I'm gonna just refill my coffee while you start talking. I'll be right back. Go ahead.
So basically, this article is by tillhq.com, and it was talking about work-life balance of the payroll professional or payroll specialist, right? And things that can cause some stress and everything, right? And tell me if you identify with some of these things and some of these things that occur in the payroll professionals' lives. Some of you that are listening may identify with some of these. So number one is end of month workload surges. So payroll pros or payroll specialists experience those spikes in workload at month end or doing pay period closings that can often lead to those extended hours, that heightened stress, to make sure that everything is done timely and accurately, to make sure that we're paying our customers, our employees, right? So that can add to stress. There might be some regulatory changes in laws and compliance, right? There are constant updates. As we know, the payroll is always changing, laws are always changing, and we have to stay aware or abreast of those things, right? And so there's a demand of ongoing attention from payroll and HR pros that can require some extra time and potentially some outside effort and additional hours to make sure that you're staying compliant. There might be some system upgrades or integration issues. You're in the middle of the implementation and stuff is just going haywire. You thought everything was working fine and stuff is just hitting the fan right now. You know what I'm saying? So implementing that new software or those new systems with other HR technologies can be complex, time consuming, and require different stuff that spills over into your personal time. You know what I'm saying? Hey, you want to go to your kid's recital and you might not be able to go because something happened, right? And you have to stay
Mm-hmm.
at work late. Year-end reporting and tax prep. We all know how year-end goes for in the payroll world. We're getting those W-2s ready. We're ticking and tying and making sure that everybody's things are good to go. And that can be stressful, especially if you have a small payroll shop in a bigger organization.
Yeah, word.
Unexpected payroll discrepancies. Handling those sudden payroll errors or discrepancies require immediate attention. What do you do if you get that call from that employee over the weekend? They didn't check their
Mm-hmm.
account. They didn't check their account until Saturday morning, even though pay date was on
Friday. Yep.
Friday, and then they check it, and then they're blowing everybody's phone up trying to get paid.
I've
You know
had
what I'm
that
saying?
happen. Yep.
That spills over into your personal time. And
Mm-hmm.
like usually when that personal time comes, you want to be able to detach and de-escalate from the week and get your mind right for the upcoming week. And so this
Yep.
that can impact your work-life balance. And then there's remote work challenges. So working remotely can potentially blur the lines between work and personal lives for payroll specialists because you might be working longer hours and might find more difficulty in disconnecting from work responsibilities because you're like, okay, hey, I'll go ahead and get this done now, especially if you're a diligent person or you
I was just gonna say,
have,
if you're a good work ethic.
yeah, you understand, you have to understand that, look, you have to really balance it out. So there's a lot of
Yep.
different topics in this article. It'll be in the show notes. Go check it out. And then there's a two lines here. The last one I wrote, and then the first one is from the article. So recognizing and managing these factors is crucial for payroll pros to maintain a balanced lifestyle and perform effectively in those roles. Now here's what I wrote. We have to understand that even though we may not be saving lives, we're not like doctors, we do impact lives.
Absolutely. Was life.
Yeah. So if we are off our games as payroll pros, it can and will have downstream impact on everyone from the employee to the employer, potentially our teams or ourselves. So it's good for us to take time off or time away, disconnect when we need to, take that PTO because we do work in a high stress industry sometimes. And stuff is going to hit the fan sometimes. Stuff is going to hit the fan when we implement AI. You know what I'm saying? Stuff
Yep.
is going to happen that's going to require all hands on deck. So just understand your importance and understand the importance of you having that work life balance as a payroll pro. So, with that being said, we have a word from our great sponsor over at Time
Time track
Track
go.
Go. Summer has arrived, and with it, the perfect opportunity to plan your dream vacation. So, whether you're envisioning a relaxing beach getaway or an adventure packed journey, Time Track Go is here to ensure requesting and improving your time off is hassle free. Time Track Go simplifies vacation planning for employees with its intuitive mobile app. Easily check available vacation time, submit those requests, and manage everything on the go. For supervisors, approving requests is as easy as a single click upon notification.
Absolutely. Everybody deserves a break, and Time Track Go streamlines the process for all. Start your stress free vacation planning today with the free 14-day trial at timetrackgo.com. That's WTIMETRAK go.com. Or you can call 888-321-9922. Happy vacationing, folks, and let's
Let's
go.
go. You switched up. I was trying to get my head in rhythm with you. Switch it up on me. All right.
I was trying to catch you off
Yeah.
guard with it. Oh man.
All right. Tell us
Today,
about the guest,
folks.
man.
Yeah, man, we have a really special guest. Our guest today is Tiffany Gray. She's the payroll manager for Riverside Health System with over 20 years in the payroll industry. Tiffany's journey began as a staff accountant in 2001, including 11 years in the state service in Virginia and various roles in the private sector. She holds a degree in accounting from Hampton University. Awesome. And earned her CPP in 2017. Known for her energetic and innovative personality, Tiffany is passionate about payroll education and mentorship, which we can attest to because we took her class at
Mhm.
PayCon. Or one of her classes rather. She resides in Newport News, Virginia, with her husband Chad and their 3 children and a puppy named Hero.
Nice.
Join us as we explore Tiffany's inspiring career and insights on leadership.
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. When your computer breaks, you don't wait for it to magically start working again. You fix the problem. So why wait to hire the people your company desperately needs? Use Indeed's sponsored jobs to hire top talent fast. And even better, you only pay for results. There's no need to wait. Speed up your hiring with a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
And today we'll be talking mostly about AI and how
Mhm.
it's impacting payroll. Me and Walt have talked about it a lot, and like how payroll folks are getting worried. And we did too. Like with the advent of AI, we're like, oh my gosh, what's gonna happen? Things like that. Tiffany's also an active member of PayO, serving as a director of membership for the Hampton Roads chapter and sitting on the Virginia statewide payroll conference board. She was honored as a payroll professional this year, or payroll professional of the year in VA statewide conference in 2022, and contributes to the Paytech magazine.
Nice.
That's dope. Yeah,
Okay.
dope.
Okay, Tiffany, superstar. All right.
Yep,
See you.
yep, she doing it. That's what's up.
All right,
All
man.
right.
Let's welcome her to the show.
Welcome, Tiffany Gray, to the show. Thank you so much for joining us today.
I'm
How
doing
are you
well. How are
doing?
you?
We're really great. We're happy to have you on. We were excited for this one for sure. Just really excited to have you on and talk to you. You come highly recommended from Gerard. We've had Gerard
Yeah.
on the show a bunch of times. When we went to PayCon, he was, hey, you got to talk to this person, you got to talk to that person. And I've
Yeah.
been following you for a while, so I already knew, and I was like, oh my God, yes.
Yeah,
So
well,
yeah,
And
so
by the
glad.
way, your course was great at PayCon. It
Yep.
was amazing to be in, to see you just in that flow.
oh, thank you guys.
It's
Yes,
amazing.
Gerard Hall, that payroll guy, is a very good friend of mine, amazing
Hmm.
colleague. We sit on a few boards together, and it's just always exciting to encourage someone in this space, which is what I love. So it's good to meet you all and see your faces today on this Sunday morning. I don't know if it's hot where you are, but it's
Thank
definitely
you.
hot where I am.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm in
Yeah.
South
It's
Woo!
Florida, so it's like the
overcast.
Caribbean down here.
That's how you do it, bro.
Yep. First off, like we ask everyone. So we've tweaked this, right? We've always asked, "Oh, how did you get into
Mhm.
payroll?" Because that's like the common question. But because of Jody, we added on to that and tell us not only how you got into payroll, but why you stood in
Yeah,
payroll.
that's
Why
an
you
excellent
stayed.
question. I started out in payroll because I was doing my degree work at Hampton University, my home by the sea, and I was in accounting and I needed a job, like an entry level job. And so I don't know if you know anything about HBCUs, specifically when I went to school decades and decades ago. The women in the business
Oh,
office,
stop.
they were very hands on, especially if you're away from home. So they would just take you under their wing. And so one of my accounting mentors said, you know what, we got a little staff accountant position for you in the business office. Oh my goodness. I laugh because, oh my goodness, if had I known what that sentence was going to do for me, and it was in the payroll office. And so out of college, working for my alma mater, I worked in payroll as a staff accountant, a payroll staff accountant. And back then, we were pulling time cards and tallying them and entering them into Lotus.
Oh yeah.
And because we didn't have Excel, right? I'm dating myself, and I love that about. But what made me stay in payroll was because when I started in college, I was very different. I did not look people in the eye. I did not, if you asked me my name or if you asked me to speak about something, I would probably be on the brink of tears. And so numbers have always
Wow.
been a place
Wow.
of comfort for me, right? And I knew that if you were an accountant, you didn't have to talk to people, you didn't have to interact with people, but that wasn't necessarily the way I wanted to stay. So when I started in payroll, I realized I can have that very cyclical, repetitive task that helps me as a type A individual. But then also it gave me an opportunity to build my interpersonal skills because you start dealing with people's money. Pay is very personal to individuals, right? And I got thrown into
Right.
the deep
Yes.
water in that particular instance. And then I just found that this was an environment that I could make a difference. And it just helped me throughout my career. So that's why I stayed. Yeah.
Wow. I love it.
Wow.
Love it.
Yeah, we could definitely see your passion.
Yep.
Even as you taught the course, we see that you're passionate about it. Like you were so invigorating and you're like almost uplifting in a sense,
Yeah.
right? And it's just, it it's
Oh,
like exudes from you. So glad to
It's
see that. So go ahead.
no, it's an amazing transition because I would have never have thought that you would you call it we would call it like a social
absolutely.
anxiety, right? That I would never have thought that of you had like you would just had a command of the room, graceful,
Yes.
you would
Yes.
never have said, "Oh, this person had this." So what an amazing, I don't know, how do you say it,
Yeah.
example to folks that you could
Yes.
be that look, I went from I didn't want to talk to anybody to I'm teaching classrooms of hundreds of people. So
Yes.
if you can do it right, it
Absolutely.
shows that
I'm
people can
very
do it.
transparent to say if I'm doing this, you guys, you can do this. And and I feel that my
Yep.
goal at the end of any session that I'm whether I'm teaching or whether I'm just participating is to encourage whoever is in the crowd. You know what I mean? You know how they talk about how rodeo clowns, you do it so well it looks easy. You know what I mean? If you feel like I was in a comedy club a few weeks ago listening to one of my favorite comedians, and he asked the audience a question. Anybody can ask me anything, and I was actually a little bit afraid because people can get up to say things. And they asked him, "How do you do?
Uh-huh.
What would be your advice to a young comedian?" And he said, do you want to be a comedian?" And the guy was like, "You make it look so easy." And I just started laughing because when you do things so well, people do want to do
Yep.
what you do. And I
Yes.
feel like we're in the position to just encourage people. Hey, if I can do it, you can do it, definitely. But yeah, I
I
couldn't
love
look
that.
people in the eye. I
Let me a
was deathly afraid of getting up in front of folks.
Wow. Let me ask you
Yeah.
this, and this is off script here, but you got me thinking because I can talk to folks, no problem. I think my current challenge is having those tough,
Okay.
crucial conversations. Do you have any advice for that? Have you had to have these tough conversations and it's with your colleague or
Oh,
leaders, right? And something there
oh,
when you have to manage up,
yes.
as they say. That's tough. Have you had to do that? Do you have any advice for it? Because like
Oh,
that's I'm
definitely.
struggling
I've
with.
had to have hard conversations with my direct reports as well as with my management. But I find that I lead my team with the three C's, right? So consistency, communication, and collaboration. And when I'm talking to someone, even if I'm trying to say something that I know could potentially be taken the wrong way, or if I, because in payroll, we're often having to say things that people don't want to hear, but how do we say it in a way that's
Yeah.
palatable, right?
Yeah.
And specifically, I'll give you an
Yep.
example. I had an individual work for me that was having some hygiene issues, and
Oh wow.
how do I say as an adult woman to an adult male that this is who's on my team and who I value very much, that your hygiene is becoming an issue, right? And then keep him on my team and not make him feel any kind of way. And that was a very difficult
Yeah.
conversation. So what I did was I just came from a very personal, just, hey, how you doing? I didn't want to schedule a meeting. He came to my office and I had to just, we don't want you to come in and sit down. I just wanted to make sure that you were okay. These are some things that I'm noticing. I want to know, is there any way that I can support you? But do it in a very genuine, okay? Very genuine way, not in a
Yeah.
condescending, not in I'm your manager, so this is something that I have to address.
That's
I
tough.
find that if you can find one thing to connect in that difficult conversation that will
Mhm.
allow you to keep that positive tone, you can talk to anyone about anything. With my boss, we're not always on the same page. I have a vision for my team. I have a vision for my area. I have a vision for where I want to be, where I want my staff to be. and she doesn't necessarily have the same vision, right? And so sometimes I'm having to
Yeah.
articulate to her how I really need her support when she already feels like she's given me everything that she possibly can, right? And so
How do you top your love for your cat? With a cascade of decadent savory gravy over a mouth-watering mousse pate. Fancy Feast Gems. 2 gourmet pâtés in 1 convenient pack. Simply peel and plate to reveal a pyramid shape that makes eating delightful and pamper her with an experience as extraordinary as she is. Turn the everyday into the extraordinary with Fancy Feast Gems.
having to explain to her, even when I'm very frustrated, and just to say, and some days I just have to tell you, some days I don't have the words. Some days all I can do is just smile and say, we'll talk about it another day, right? But those difficult conversations, I'm looking for a commonality. I'm looking for a place to connect. I'm looking for a
Like that.
place where both of us are comfortable and start there. And then we can start to move into the uncomfortable place. And then at the same time, I always use myself. One of the things about me is I don't, even though having challenges does frustrate me, I just try not to take myself too seriously. I'm always laughing at myself and my limitations. And so I use that. I use my limitations often when
Yep.
I'm having to have a difficult conversation. So I don't know if that makes any sense, but
Thank you so much. That's
it
so
is
helpful.
it's
No, it is.
difficult. There are lots of difficult
Yeah.
conversations to be had in payroll, right? We've got high
Yeah.
income earners
Yes.
that may
Yep.
have
Yep.
garnishments
Yep.
and things like that, and they may have a huge bonus, and no one has ever explained to them that if we're using the optional supplemental rate,
Hmm.
that's a flat 22%. Okay, adding in your FICA
Yes.
7.65%, now we're almost at 30% just
Yes.
off the top. And then if your tax has a flat rate for supplemental, then we're like for Virginia 5.75%, so we're well into 33% of your bonus is already allocated towards
Oof.
taxation. And so I've
Wow.
had their HCEs say to me, "You're a criminal. Like, how could you do this? How could you take all
Yeah. No, it's true.
that
It's
That's a
not our
great
fault.
point.
taxation?"
Yes.
Yeah.
It's
That's a
so
great
true.
point because
It's tough. And especially we talk about on the show all the time, 80%
Yes,
is live paycheck to
yes,
paycheck.
yeah.
So when and me and Walt had a manager that taught me something that stood with me anyway. I'm sure it still I say it enough, so I'm sure Walt thinks about it time enough. That like 8 hours or $100 could really
yes,
impact someone's paycheck, right? That
Yeah.
$100 could be their grocery allotment for the week or the 2 weeks or whatnot. We really and we had another guest that really he led with he coined the phrase payroll is life, and I
People are.
challenged that, and I was like, "All right, I think you're getting a little crazy." But he explained it. He's like, "Brian, what do you mean? When we pay people, you pay your mortgage, you do your groceries,
Yeah.
you pay your kids stuff." And it really was like, "Oh man, you're right. You're right. I didn't even think
yes,
about it that way because I try not to take, like you said, I
yes,
don't take myself too seriously, but that part of
absolutely.
it is super serious. So when you have these folks, I worked at a staffing agency one time, and there was somebody downstairs, and this is when I was in New York. They were downstairs with a bat. I need my check. I
Yes,
want my check today. Blah blah blah. And people get scared. And, oh my gosh! Wait
yeah.
a minute. We're
Yeah.
gonna help. Don't we're gonna get you
Pay
a
is
check.
very
So
Yes.
personal. Yes.
it's so
And no
easy.
matter, it doesn't matter how passionate you
Yes.
are
Yes.
about your entrepreneurial exploits, right? It doesn't matter how passionate you are about the product that you're bringing, your invention. At the end of the day, if that
Yep.
endeavor does not yield some kind of financial stability, financial
Right.
security, right? People are not going to stick with it. You could
Yes.
love what you do. I work for a healthcare system, and we are dealing with patients, and we're dealing with mental health, and we're dealing with recovery, oncology. There's
Lives.
so many things in the
Yeah.
health sphere that are so discouraging, but at the same time we're coming across research and life-saving tools, and they're leveraging AI to see how they can better anticipate the preventive care that you may need. There's so many great things, but at the end of the day, those nurses, those providers, those nutrition assistants, they want to be paid and they want their pay to be accurate, right? And if it's
That's right.
not, then they don't
That's
find
right.
the focus to give you the best care, you as a patient. And so that's my commitment to them, that as they're in
Hmm.
triage, as they're in the x-ray room, they don't have to worry about, is my pay going to be right? Does anybody care
Yes.
that my pay is right? I
Yep.
care. My team
Yes.
cares because pay is personal. Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
personal.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
No, it's true, and it's that's you give a really good perspective, and we came across a stat on the show that if you're one, Walt shares with us all the time, right? If you get go two paychecks, you're already thinking about
Yeah.
leaving the
Yes.
job.
That's true.
And then how it impacts your focus, just like you said, it impacts your focus because if you're worried about money, if you don't know if your check is going to be right the next time you get it and you're going to be able to pay the things that your work product is off, it's going to be off, you're going to
Yeah.
get
You're not going to be
discouraged.
motivated. You're
Right.
not going to be engaged.
Yep.
You're going to be thrown off because, hey, these people aren't paying me on time. My pay is never right. I, man, I'm tired of this place.
I'm out of here.
I
Yeah,
don't want to leave.
exactly. Yeah. Wow. And now, so there's a perfect segue into a topic that we want to talk about with the AI, right? And it's basically AI and the angst around AI, artificial intelligence in payroll. So, can you start us off, Tiffany? Because you got a staff, you got one, are you guys using AI yet? Or, and then two, because much like me and Walt, when AI became, we were like, oh my God, we're not
Exactly.
gonna have a job, and
Mhm.
you know what
That's
I
the
mean.
anxiety. Payroll, and you
So,
guys let me know if you agree, but payroll is a highly
mhm,
transactional environment. Okay. There's so many
yep,
external data
absolutely.
streams attached to the pay result that really puts the
Hmm.
payroll processor, or as we know the payroll processor, in a different position than it did 20 years ago. Okay. So especially, it doesn't matter whether you're a payroll office that is outsourcing the payroll to a third party vendor, or if you are a payroll department that is actually processing the payroll from start to finish internally, which is what my team does. But regardless of how you are producing the payroll, there are so many data points that need review. And there are so many, if you're a strong payroll department that cares about checks and balances, right? There are so many places that
That's
internal
right.
audit, and I used to audit for the state for about 12 years, that we're looking for either your staff or the system to create some type of system edit or some type of system check to ensure this internal data stream matches whatever the intent is, correct? And this is where I start to see a little bit, a couple things. One, as a hiring manager, I'm looking for someone who has the flexibility and the adaptability to be able to understand not just a small picture of their task, but the big picture as far as how their task affects other things. And that's not something, as I've moved along in my career, that's something that is not often understood. People know what to do, but they don't often know why they're doing it, or how this particular task
Hmm.
is
Absolutely.
important to the overall compliance expectation for the organization. So what we're seeing, I am currently using AI in my HCM system in a couple ways. One, to better
Mm,
understand, one way, let me give you an example. So one way that we're using it is building out our chat bots here. Okay, so my team has a ticketing system that
yes.
we use within our HCM system, right? So if employees
Yep.
have a question, they can reach out.
Hmm.
But after, and I was saying this in a meeting earlier
Yeah.
this week, that after I was at Congress, Sean K, he really inspired me about being bold and embracing AI. And I have to go back. There is a lot of anxiety about it because, come on, we all saw iRobot, right? We all saw these movies. And we saw Robo. I'm dating myself here. There's
Yeah.
so many science fiction action movies
Mhm.
that we've watched over the last few decades. And now
Yes.
we are
Yeah.
literally looking at the movie of our life, and we're wondering, oh snap, am I going to be Will Smith? Am I going to have to take down this ultra plan for, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So our
Yeah.
imaginations are very active. But what I believe he was trying to say was that we haven't even scratched the surface. Like we're nowhere near the place where anxiety and worry, because right now we are currently at the place where AI needs humans to generate. So that's the first thing. It's just like you said, the anxiety, and I think it comes, like I said, a lot from what we see in our imaginations. We got it right. We got a movie in our mind. We can see it happening. We don't quite know where we fit
Mm-hmm.
in this movie plot. They're like the main
Yep.
character.
Yeah, I really
Exactly.
understand
What
that.
do you
Yep.
see when you see the end? What do you see? So that I think a lot of angst is driven from that. But I also believe that that AI does give us an opportunity to do some of that manual checking that we may not have the manpower to do. And also the way that our employees
Yep.
understand their pay. I'll give you an example. My HCM system does not call direct deposit. It calls it your payment election. Okay. So automatically, in our efforts
Okay.
to deliver a product that I guess seems a little bit different. So automatically, I've been working 20 something years and I'm looking for something that says direct deposit and you can't find it. Okay.
Exactly.
Because in the sophistication of some of
Oh, yeah.
these
Yep.
systems and what seems better you're electing your payment. So this is your payment election. So what I was doing when I came back from Congress, I felt very inspired. And so I reached out to the VP of our HCM team. He's also a process improvement engineer. And I don't know if you know what it's like to talk to a process improvement engineer, but they get very granular very fast, okay? And, and so I have to like, okay, Tiffany, just breathe here. Okay, we're going to make it through. But I was working with him and his HR support team because I want when an employee types in, how do I get to my direct deposit? I don't want the system to not know what it means. So we were looking at the bot to not just generatively create an article and say, here, you need to read this. No, we wanted to interact.
This episode is brought to you by Voco Hotels by IHG, where you should prepare to be charmed. From Chicago to Myrtle Beach to Saranac Lake, each Voco in the U.S. has its own local flavor and unique detail. Our hosts welcome you with little extras, and you'll find rooms for catching up on me time and full-service bars and restaurants that are perfect for us time. Come on in and live the Voco life and book your next stay at vocohotels.com. VOCO hotels.com.
If you're looking for your direct deposit means a payment election, just something really simple. And that's something that we're working on. How
Yes.
do we work with this bot to create a reservoir of phrases that we anticipate from our employees or our clients? They're going to look for direct
Yes.
deposit, especially in the nursing field, the way that we talk, and some of the things, and what we're finding specifically in the health industry is because folks are on TikTok and they're thinking about this and they're hearing something like that and then they're coming into the HCM system and they're asking that very question. And so how do we anticipate our answer for that? We start to build a reservoir, right? So that when they say certain things, that bot can say, I
Yep.
can assist you with this. Have you looked at this? Without even, and my team's tasks have not been interrupted. Just all of that is happening prior to
Yes.
it, that ticket getting to them. And then when it finally does get to them, they have the background of how the conversation is. Okay, I know exactly how to help that person. So that's just a way.
Yes. I
Just
love it.
how do we leverage this
Yeah.
technology to help our teams and to help our employees, not to
Yep.
replace
Yes.
our teams? And I think that's where the anxiety is coming. But how do we do it? And there's so many
Mm-hmm.
tasks. And the way that I've looked at that is there's so many tasks that my staff hate to do. Those are the best places to start to see if AI can help with that, right?
Yep.
Yep. Yes.
Have you had team members start to get worried? Oh my gosh, Tiffany, am I
Yes,
going to have a
I have a
job in a year?
multi-generational team. I've had two.
Really?
I have two.
Oh,
I don't want that would be considered baby boomers leave just in us talking about it. They had no interest.
Wow.
One of them actually said to me, "This is something that I've always feared," because she was always afraid of technology, just as far as just like integrations, and she would consider complex spreadsheets, technology. Okay. So when we started talking about certain things, she was just like, this is a direction I never want to go in. And so, yes, I've had some turnover on my
Oh
team
my
just by
God.
trying to just be open. Now, listen, I build a collaborative team. So I want your input. How do you feel about this? If you're not ready for it, then we can definitely take a slower approach to it. This will not be something, there are lots of ways to navigate that so that you don't
Yeah.
feel like you're being pushed out by technology. But she didn't want any places, she didn't want any parts of it.
Wow. That's
Wow.
crazy. Wow. It makes me think about my mom when she retired. Oh gosh, I think it's over 10 years now that she's been retired. For her, they introduced the laptop to the nursing station. She was a nurse
Hmm.
for 47 years and it was
Yes.
all paper, right? The moment they introduced the laptop to her station, her rolling when she do rounds, they made
Yeah.
I'm done. I'm good.
Yeah.
And that's when she retired. Yeah. For real. That was the breaking point for her. So
Wow.
I totally get
Isn't
that.
that
Has
something?
oh wow. So
You th- do you, what? Why do you think that is? You think it's because they don't want to learn the new
it's too much.
systems?
It's too much.
Hmm.
You
My
think
mom's
about it, right? You can
generation, our mom's generation, my
no, go
mom
ahead,
was
please.
she worked at a hospital, ironically, I worked in a hospital too, right?
Oh
She was
wow.
with her hospital for 47 years. She started out in laundry, then she got her licensure for pharmacy, and then she just went on and on. But
Nice.
we don't see that in my generation. I'm Generation X, or even I'm like right at I'm an X millennial because I was born in
Me
December,
too.
but
Yep, me too.
we're not staying anywhere for 40 something years. That's how you are life. You laughing?
No. No.
Come on, think about it.
No, it's
Are we
true.
going to even be at the
It's
same
true.
company
Yep.
10 years? I feel like that's an accomplishment in
Yeah.
our generation, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
To
Yes.
be at a company
Yes.
for 10
Yep.
years.
Hmm.
But our parents, they were 25, 30, 35, or even if not at
Yes.
the same
Yes.
company, within
Normal.
the
Yep.
That was
industry,
normal.
right? Within the space. And I think that, and they saw some
Yep.
things that I don't think that we would be, and experience
Yeah.
some things that I don't know that we would have the fortitude to deal with in the same graceful,
Mm-mm. Definitely not.
composed manner. I'm just telling you, I'm just speaking for me. Um,
Yeah.
some of the things that my mother has
Yeah.
said
Yeah.
has been said to her
Agreed.
in the context of her job. I I couldn't have. And
Yep.
I said all that to say that I think that once they get to a certain point, my mom's always saying, you're paying your dues. I paid my dues already. And I'm like, Mom, what does that even mean? What does that even mean?
Yeah.
But I think there
Yep.
was just such a progression of challenges, overcoming challenges, such a cadence of I'm getting up, I'm going to do this, I'm doing
Hmm.
it for my family, I'm doing it for this, and then the job
Right.
introduces a change, right? And it may not even be a change that makes sense, right? And
Mm-hmm.
your mom is probably thinking, how is this going to help patients? How this is just going to get in the way. This is just one more
Mm-hmm.
thing that I have to keep up
Yep.
with. And at the end,
Yep.
Yeah.
who has time? We,
Yep.
we don't we
Yep.
don't even have time for one more thing,
Nope.
right? When we're
Nope.
trying to
Yeah.
build
Yeah.
something, I'm in the middle of my career, I'm climbing, trying to do some things. I will tolerate one more thing. But at the sunset, like when I put my time in and I can taste
Uh-uh.
retirement, I'm
That's right.
be just like your mom. No,
Yes.
what? What?
Yep. I'm done. Right.
Ain't nobody got time for that. That's right.
Exactly. And I think that,
That's right.
and that's what we were talking about, those difficult conversations, right? It was nothing. I could definitely, when I saw
Yeah.
her,
Yeah.
I saw my mom. I saw my aunt. I saw someone
Hmm.
who was at the place where, you know what, this is a bit more than I bargained for. And that's another thing about payroll. People think that because it is so cyclical
Yeah.
and it is so transactional that there is no change, right? This is a position where I can do the same
Mm.
thing every
Constantly.
single day, right? For
Mm.
years on years. We don't
Not
need
anymore.
to change. And that couldn't be more far from the truth, right? Um,
Exactly
Yeah.
right. Yes,
yes,
is
constant
constant
changes,
change.
regulatory
Yep.
wise,
It's ever
compliance wise.
changing.
There's so many things you have to keep up with. And
Yep.
so I
Hmm.
had to accept that's where she was. I also had to accept this is not where our team is going, because we're a very small team and this is a very sizable organization. So we need some help here. Right? Yeah, exactly.
Gotta leverage.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. You gotta leverage it. So
Wow.
then the other folks on the team kinda you were able to they understood and they're comfortable with some of
Yes.
that change.
So I had two boomers and then I had two millennial Gen Z. Right now, my whole team is under 27. So I have an all green team. I've got an
Oh my
all green team, which
gosh.
comes with its own
Ooh,
amazing challenges,
challenge.
and and it also comes there. So what I do love about working with millennials and Gen Z is their adaptability, is their ability to be flexible. Okay, and because they don't have the history of I've always this is the way we've always done it, which can be such a it can be yes.
Challenge.
It can be a
Yeah,
challenge when you are
Yeah.
coming up
yeah,
against
Yeah.
this is the way we've always done
Yeah.
it. And I know there's just such a level of comfort and security that stays with I know how to do it this way. It always works when I do it this way. But then the question that I have to ask as the manager, director, as the leader of this team is this a good use of your time? Is this a good use of your time in the big picture of our processing, right? In the end result of what we want to produce for our employees. And usually, if the answer is no, then we have to move towards something, a better process. Yeah. But the downside with
Okay.
the millennials is
That's
they're
interesting.
not going to stay. We just talked about how we would say they're not staying.
yeah.
Okay, they will
Nope,
accept your job and they're
they're not.
still
Yeah.
looking, getting ready to start.
Yeah. Yes.
Yes, that's interesting that you say that and that this topic came up, Brian, because if you look at the notes under our Safe Talk section,
Yes, I
there's
know.
something in
I
there
see
about the
that.
labor market and that
Yep.
there's a shortening
Yeah.
tenure for payroll professionals, right? They say
Right.
that most may stay at a job for 1, 2, or 3
Yeah.
Yes.
years, and
Yeah.
then before
And
they
as a
transition.
hiring manager,
Mhm.
that is challenging. You
It
can't
is.
Yeah.
learn your job in a year.
How does PwC take your company to the leading edge? They bring the sharpest minds in tech to your team so you can bring the ideas that will transform your business. They're passionate about your industry so you can walk into any room with every advantage. And they're with you every step of the way so you can know you're headed in the right direction. PwC builds for what's next so you can get there now. Get started at pwc.com/us/leading edge.
You
Oh my god, especially
exactly.
with
There's certain
payroll.
things you don't see but once a year, right?
That's exactly right. Yep. I tell
Yes.
people you gotta wait at least 18 months before you have experienced the full cycle of what you could
Yes.
encounter
Exactly. You
in this
haven't
job.
seen everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how do you and
Yep.
see that's just the old school in me because how do you tell your
Mhm.
next employer
Yeah.
that you've done a great job when you've only been there a year, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
So look,
Yeah.
I'll give you a good, and we could all learn from it. My wife is a nurse manager, and she's got like 100 nurses under her, and she's embraced the fact that this is happening. So she altered her strategy and said, you know what, I'm gonna be the learning floor, right? My unit is gonna be the unit you learn, and I wholeheartedly expect you to move
Mhm.
on. I'm gonna teach you
Yes.
so that you can move on in a better way. I think it's just like something we just have to figure out how to
Yes.
embrace and
Yeah.
and move with it. And you'll see now. You got a young staff now. In a few
It's
years,
not
we'll check back and
personal. It's
see where
not
Hey,
personal.
that's
how's it
And
going?
your wife has
no,
Yeah.
it's not. It's not
dissociated
exactly.
the what feels very personal to what actually she's
Yep,
what her position is, and that's the
yep,
best approach to it because if you realize you know what while you're on your while you're and that's the same approach that I have while you're on my team, I'm going to teach you, I'm not going to just teach you how to do payroll here, I'm going to teach you how to
yes,
do payroll anywhere. Okay, I'm going to make your audit eyes stronger. I
yes,
fully expect your
yes,
payroll compliance muscles to be stronger. I'm building you as a not only a
yeah,
payroll professional but as an accounting professional. Do you understand the impact that payroll has to
yes,
your financial statements? All of that. I want you leaving my team
yes,
stronger and you're with having better skills, better knowledge, and better demonstrative ability to be able to do your job, right? That's my role as your leader. not your manager, but as your leader. And so when your wife takes that kind of approach to such a humongous team, and you add that compassion and care that's needed for nursing, she's going to be amazing, and people are going to stay with her more because you can't get that kind of investment everywhere, right? We've got folks managing. We got managers all over the place, supervisors all over the place, right? The people who got titles all over the place. What we don't have is that investment, that personal investment to your professional development, because managers get it feels personal. You're working for me. You're on my team. How could you leave? But if you understand, as soon as day one, I'm not going to have this individual forever. How can I invest in them? Two individuals that are on my team came from a previous team, and no, I didn't poach them. I did not poach them. They were like, "Hey, this is where my old boss is. I saw there's an opening. I got to go where she is," and I appreciate that. They were just saying, "I appreciate that too." And I'm not perfect, but I do try to meet them where they are. And they started to have some experiences, and because sometimes people think it's like this everywhere. Every manager that I have cares about me. Every manager, every manager that I have, they don't have a problem with me taking a long lunch so that I can take care of this or that. And I see you all's faces. Having worked for some folks, that can't be said about everyone. Had some experiences, and I was glad to bring them onto my new team. But that's the approach. How do I invest in you? How do I build you with the understanding that they're not going to stay forever, and it's not personal.
That's right.
It's okay.
And it's not personal. Yeah, it's okay. It's a new landscape. Yep.
Tiffany with the mic drop. All right.
Yes. Yes, I found my little nugget there where it's going to start the show. That
You
little
guys
mic
are so
drop.
awesome. I love that. I love what you guys
That's
do.
right.
I really do.
Thank you so much. We thank you very much. That keeps us going, because as long as we do it for our peers, that's what means everything to us. It's clearly not about the money, because we haven't changed our lives yet, but it's about getting the support from our peers. Gerard is one of the first ones. That's why he's dear to us, because out the gate, he's just, I heard all your shows already. Keep going, blah, blah, blah. Gave us inspiration. And we were like, oh my gosh. And I had already been following him for a while. So it was impactful and we get that more often than not. And it's like when we went to PayCon, there was a little bit about, like, oh my gosh, is everybody going to recognize us, or is no one going to recognize us? The majority, what we learned was, no, the 2,000 folks that were there may not have recognized our faces. The leaders that were there recognized us. That was everything for us. Holy cow. We've actually interviewed half of them, and
you guys are
that
doing it.
means
You
a
guys
ton
are
to
bringing a
us.
visibility to payroll that I don't know that we necessarily could have done for ourselves. You know what I mean? Because everybody talks about why payroll doesn't have a seat at the table. And one of the reasons why is because oftentimes C-suite doesn't see us they see us as like a machine. We just keep doing it. And no one knows that anything is wrong in payroll until something happens. A bonus is something, and it usually has a bad connotation. But you all are bringing a visibility to positive things. You're bringing a conversation. You're bringing what someone who may be a little bit more timid, or like you're saying, having a hard time articulating what they want to say, they can go back to this podcast, they can listen, they can hear, they can see, and they can feel built up. They can feel encouraged. So I think what you guys are doing is incredibly important, and I love it. I love it.
Thank you.
Whew. That means a lot to us. That means a lot to us. Before we let you go, we always like to play a game with our guests, and it's called This or That, and just a way to get to know us beyond payroll, right? Walt, you want to start us off? We got 6 there, right? You do the first 3, I'll do the last 3.
Yes. And you can say one or the other, or you can say neither or
both,
both, whatever. Yep. All right. So neo soul or jazz music.
Definitely.
All right. Garnishments or
Taxes.
taxes.
That's such a broad question, but
I would say
taxes
neither.
all day.
Okay. Would you rather Be it on a private plane or a private yacht.
Private plane.
Okay. Okay. All right, Brian.
Chess.
Chess or checkers? Very interesting. You're a morning person or a
I
night
am a
owl?
night owl. I can be a morning person,
Ah,
but
okay.
my colleagues will tell you I'm a night owl.
Okay. And last one, seafood or
Oh,
barbecue?
that's a tough one. That's hard. How can you ask a Southern girl
Can be
like
both.
me
It can
a
be both.
question like that? I'm offended. You got all the way to the last question and offended me. No, okay. So yeah, that is a terrible question to ask. I just feel a way about that. No, if I had to choose between seafood and barbecue, I'm gonna choose seafood. Okay. And I'm going to tell you the truth. My husband has a
Okay.
seafood
Okay.
allergy, so I don't get to eat seafood around him
Man.
at the house prepared.
Oh.
So when I'm traveling, I have
Oh.
to check my mercury levels because I'm eating seafood
Ooh.
every meal I can. Give me shrimp and grits in the morning. I love
Oh
seafood,
yeah.
but at the same time,
Yes.
being a Southern girl, barbecue? What? North Carolina barbecue? What we talking about? KC,
Yeah.
Memphis? What? That was a terrible question. And when I see the both of you in person
Yes.
again, we're gonna talk about that last question. I feel a way about that. I appreciate you guys having me on today. I really do.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, we
Yeah.
love it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Before
Yeah.
we go,
Thank
we
you.
do
It's
have
a
one
pleasure.
more segment that we end the show with, and it's called Safe Talk. And it's just to not be as professional, just kind
Okay.
of. And for this one, so Walt posed the question today: will AI make up for any payroll staffing issues?
Mm. Will AI
Will
make up for any payroll
What do you think?
staffing issues? Yeah.
staffing issues?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I think that there are
Yeah.
Okay.
components to staffing issues that we have, like I said, the ability to review your work, or especially when you have we're so data entry driven. But so AI can definitely take that data, scrub that data, find inconsistencies, find variances. It can look at totals. If you give it enough, it can do that. But when we're talking staffing issues as far as turnover, staffing issues as far as retention, staffing issues as it pertains to the satisfaction of the job. Do I feel fulfilled? Do I feel meaningful? Do I feel appreciated? I think only a human can bring that kind of confirmation and affirmation. And I still think that no matter how
Yeah.
evolved AI gets, it will not be able to appreciate an employee. It can make the job easier, but it can't make that person feel more fulfilled.
This episode is brought to you by Amazon Business. We could all use more time. Amazon Business offers smart business buying solutions so you can spend more time growing your business and less time doing the admin. I can see why they call it smart. Learn more at amazonbusiness.com.
Can make it more, it can take it from manual to automated. It can innovate, but it can't make the person feel appreciated.
Yes.
I don't know if I answered that
Yeah.
question, but that's how I feel.
No, look, and this is the thing, right? It's just
Yeah.
there's no right answers. It's a feeling. It's
Yeah.
what does it evoke? For me, I think that me and Walt talked about this a lot when AI started to really get into the workplace and things like that. And I think that it is gonna take some of the heavy jobs away in the future. No time
Yeah.
soon. Like you said, the
Mhm.
profession you talked
Mhm.
about, we're just scratching the surface. We're so far away from it
Yeah.
taking a payroll job. I get that it's taking admin jobs and I don't understand how
Restaurant
because
workers.
some oh, because of the robots making burgers. Yeah, we covered an article
Yeah.
about a spot in California that kind of replaced the flippers and the fries, but they still had a human finishing off
Mm-hmm.
the food and delivering it. I think it will be much the same. I think that's
Mm-hmm.
what it's going to evolve to, that AI is going to take the
Mm-hmm.
transaction heavy stuff away, but you're still going to need that high level human
Right.
payroll person to deliver the product and to be a liaison
Someone,
for your
absolutely,
employees
someone is
and for
going to
leadership.
have to be able to interpret regulation. But let me just put it to you like this. There was a time when the question to outsource payroll made payroll professionals feel like there wasn't enough space, right? Because where teams were doing payroll on Lotus spreadsheets, teams were doing payroll in so many different ways. And then a company says, hey, we're going to downsize payroll where we only need one person and we're going to outsource it to this third party company. We've been here, you guys. We've been here. And we're still
That's right.
here. You know what I
That's
mean?
right.
Because then we had to say, okay, you need the people in these third party vendors, they need to know truly what it takes to run a payroll. So I want payroll professionals to feel comfortable, okay? Because really when you think about payroll, it is a very recession proof type department because no matter what, and I remember, I don't know if anyway, I don't want to go into that, but I just want to say that we've been here before. Okay, when the decision was made
That's
to
right.
outsource, or when a company decides to downsize their payroll department from 10 to 3,
Yeah.
just so that they don't have to deal with all of that, there was a lot of anxiety. What does it mean for me? And I've been in the industry long enough to say, what does it
Yeah.
mean? Where am I going to go? Where can I apply these skills? And then at the same time, as a hiring manager, I'm here to tell you that there is not a palette for the kind of
Yeah.
work that we're doing. And so it's becoming even more difficult
That's
for
right.
managers to get the kind of staff that they need to be successful. So we've got
Yes.
we need AI. That's why I'm saying we have to get to a place where we can embrace it and embrace it in a way that we determine how we want to
That's
leverage it before we get to the place where we're being dictated
a
to
tool.
as far as this is the way that you have
Yes.
to, right? That's the
Yes.
difference.
We
You
should
guys
Yes.
control the
always control
narrative.
the
Amen.
narrative.
Yes.
Yes.
Always. Right?
Yep.
That's the strategy, right?
I
But I just want to encourage payroll
Yeah.
professionals. That's why we're trying to bring some of the stress. We've been here before, right? We were there when they decided to outsource the
Amen.
Yep.
payroll, and it was a very hard transition. And even it was hard to say, okay, we're going to send it to a service bureau. And so what does that mean for the payroll professional? That we don't need to be educated, that we don't need to, why did I get this certification? There was so much anxiety, but we're still here. We're now
Yep.
collaborating with our third party vendors. They need
That's right.
us as much as we need them. And so I'm hoping there's some type of
That's right.
centrifuging with AI in the same way. That because again, pay is very
Yeah.
personal and no type of technology can duplicate that personal touch, right? And that understanding. That was a great question.
Yeah.
I love it. That,
Yeah.
thanks. Walt curates most of these
Yeah.
things. So
No, I forgive
beat
both of
him
you
up
for that
when we
barbecue
see each other.
seafood question.
It's equal opportunity beat down, Brian.
That's right.
That's right.
50
That's
50. I
right.
guess we got to
No,
both
just
take
kidding.
it. Oh, gosh. Thank you so much. This was such an amazing show today that you gave us. I appreciate
You
your
guys are doing
time.
awesome.
Thank
Thank
you
you so
Yes,
much
very
for the
certainly.
much.
invite. I love you
Um,
guys. I love listening.
yeah, heck yeah. Oh, likewise.
Thank you so
Likewise. We love
much.
you. That's the show for us today, folks. We love you. See you next time.
Before we sign off, here are a couple quick things. Don't forget to follow It's About Payroll on LinkedIn and It's About Your Paycheck on Facebook and TikTok.
Thank you for being part of our payroll community, and thank you for being a part of this journey with us. Until the next time, keep learning, keep growing, and most importantly, keep going.